Mauritius was under French control. The island's workers labored long hours on large sugarcane fields. Among them was a man named Cicero, who was not well regarded by his peers, yet enjoyed a unique trust from his master, Eugène. Though some mocked him as Eugène's assistant, Cicero's greatest hope was to secure a brighter future for his daughter, Mati. One evening, he quietly taught her French, explaining that opportunities sometimes come in a different language. But the lesson changed unexpectedly when Mati mentioned a subject considered off-limits, the idea of leaving. She believes there's a haven for runaway slaves. Cicero immediately shuts her down. In this world, anyone who tries to leave the plantation winds up dead, and the very next morning proves his point. 2 slaves, caught attempting to flee, are dragged out. Their bodies are branded, their ears sliced. The others stand frozen in silence, terrified that they too would be killed if they tried to run. While Cicero translates every word his fat, rotund master Eugène spits, the crowd tremble. That evening things get worse. Mati suffers a violent spiritual attack, only for her father to rush in just in time to save her. When the spirit fades, Mati reveals something chilling. The figure looked exactly like her late mother, Ungone. She insists that her mother should possess Cicero, so he'll have the strength to rise up, kill the masters, and escape with the others. But Cicero refuses. He pleads with his daughter to trust his plan, warning that if she doesn't, she may not survive at all. That same night, Cicero is summoned to Eugène's house, where the newly arrived governor awaits. Cicero speaks flawless French, impressing everyone, until the governor presses him about why slaves run away. Cicero explains that exhaustion and brutal labor are the reasons. The governor doesn't like that answer. To him, slaves are animals, undeserving of rest. His anger fills the room, and Cicero is thrown out, while Eugène apologizes on his behalf. Honoré, Eugène's son, then argues that slaves are still human beings and should be treated better. His words strike a nerve, forcing the governor to end the dinner. As punishment, he strips Eugène of privileges. Eugène lashes out at his son, then summons Cicero, stripping away his rights as well. Worst of all, Eugène declares that Mati will now live in his house. Cicero's heart shatters. He begs, but Eugène ignores him before she can be taken. Mati escapes into the night. By morning, Eugène's men return empty-handed, and their furious master orders a bounty hunter to be called. Cicero, meanwhile, is brutally tortured, but he refuses to reveal where his daughter might be. Soon after, the feared Madame Victoire arrives with her men, Joseph and Baptiste. She interrogates Cicero, then tortures a pregnant slave close to Matidi. Brucan, the woman, reveals that Matili once spoke of a safe haven. With that, Victoria sets out to hunt her down, dragging Honoré along. That night, Cicero convinces a fellow slave to free him, risking everything she does. He escapes into the woods, desperate to find Mati. Guided by visions of Ngone, he pushes forward. Exhausted, he drinks from a stream, then smashes the shackles on his head. He performs a ritual in the dirt, begging the spirits to guide him. Nearby, Victoria's group makes camp. Around the fire, Honoré pries into Victoria's past, hoping her suffering might give her sympathy. But she shows none. Despite her childhood abuse, she has grown into a hardened, merciless hunter. The following day, Victoria notices Cicero through her monocular. Another worker quickly alerts him and helps him find a safe place with his wife and child. However, the baby's cries reveal their location, and confusion breaks out. Cicero defends himself fiercely, holding Baptiste at bay, when Honoré suddenly appears, armed. Just as the situation seems critical, the other worker intervenes, allowing Cicero a chance to escape. He leaves Baptiste unharmed and runs with Joseph in pursuit. The chase is intense, yet fortune favors Cicero once more. Another ally, Rado, jumps in, helping him evade Joseph for good. Rado explains that he is searching for a haven for slaves, while Cicero reveals he is looking for his daughter. Cicero stays in Rado's cave to rest, but notices the man's uniform and asks about his past. Rado explains that his service to the country once earned him citizenship, but when whites burned his release papers, he became a fugitive. That night, Baptiste begs Joseph to spare Cicero's life, reminding him that Cicero had spared his. At dawn, Rado leads Cicero into the woods, marking a specific pattern to guide him toward Matidi. Meanwhile, Baptiste refuses to continue the hunt with Joseph and Madame Victoire. He insists on returning Honoré's body to Eugène. To prove his resolve, he even wrestles with Joseph. Later that morning, Joseph intercepts Rado, shoots him in the leg, and tortures him for Cicero's location. Rado refuses to betray him. When Victoria notices his uniform, she questions him. Rado proudly states that he once served the King of France. He mocks her aging face, and the furious old woman shoots him dead. Victoria storms into Rado's hideout, searching for anything useful. She finds Cicero's old clothes and hands them to her dog. One sniff and the beast bolts, leading them through the woods. Soon it finds Cicero at a stream and attacks. They tumble off a cliff into the raging river. Gasping and wounded, Cicero claws his way out, only to face the dog again. This time, he kills it. Watching from a distance, Victoria and Joseph see Cicero stagger back into the wood. That night, Ingone's spirit visits Cicero again, urging him to renew their blood covenant. At dawn, he regains his strength and presses forward until he exits the forest. On a riverbank, he sees the bodies of dead slaves and fears Mati is among them. To his relief, she is not. Re-entering the woods, he stumbles upon a group of slaves. Overwhelmed with grief, he begs to find his daughter. One slave lifts him up and points him toward her. Cicero's heart leaps when he finally lays eyes on Matili. She smiles when he agrees to follow her to the haven she once spoke of. Meanwhile, Victoria arrives at the riverbank and examines the corpses. She spots a cliff in the distance, convinced Cicero and Matati are heading there. Cicero, however, has grown tired of running. He decides it is time to renew the covenant and face his hunters once and for all. That night, he performs the ritual and accepts Nane's spirit. Elsewhere, Victoria and Joseph eat by the fire. She senses something is wrong, instinctively dodging an arrow aimed at them. Joseph raises his gun, but a figure creeps up behind him and stabs him. Mortally wounded, he collapses. Victoria, devastated, cradles her brother and stabs him in the heart to end his suffering. Blinded by grief, she searches for the attacker, only to be haunted by hallucinations. Cicero emerges from the shadows and strikes her down, sending her to the fate she deserved. Shockingly, Known's spirit also appears at Eugene's home, stabbing him in his sleep. The next day, Mati helps her father walk, but he is weak and collapses. She cries desperately for help. Thankfully, fugitive slaves appear and carry him to their haven, where a healer tends to his wounds. Cicero recovers. That night, the slaves gather around a fire to share their stories. They come from different tribes, Yoruba, Fulani, and others. When Cicero speaks, he introduces himself as the descendant of a clan of wizards. He recounts how his wife was killed for resisting slavery, a trait Matati inherited. He then introduces Mati, who shares a story her mother once told her, a tale that gave her hope to free their people and build havens like this one. The following day, Mati stops by a stream and glimpses her mother's spirit watching her. She smiles, but peace doesn't last. The governor's men discover the haven and move in. Cicero spots them and rushes to his daughter. Gunfire echoes as soldiers push the slaves toward a cliff. Their commander offers false mercy, urging them to surrender and live. Cicero whispers, "Without chains, without masters." And together, the slaves leap from the cliff, choosing freedom and death over life in bondage. Though not entirely factual, the tale is inspired by real accounts of enslaved people who resisted oppression.
End the movie. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our other recaps and subscribe for more content. And leave comment below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.